why is America all of a sudden selling corn? This is a big deal.
Because it's cheap. We always sell more corn at a low price than we do at a high price. And I think it's also important to understand human psychology. As prices are coming down, if you're a buyer, let's say for, whether it be China or let's say for Panama, and as the market's coming down, you're in no hurry to buy. It's just human nature. It's getting cheaper. Then once the prices make the bottom and start up, you think, oh my God, I just missed the bottom. I better start buying this. It happens this way at every bottom. And so we get a surge going up. And then the other thing that we have happen right now is, for example, here in the state of Illinois, there's a lot of corn on the ground and in bags. I mean, there's a lot of corn, but it's not moving to market. And so processors need corn right now. So we've seen a very significant increase in the basis in central Illinois just in the last 4 weeks. And if you take a look at the cash corn market right now, from early harvest to now, it's $1 higher. I mean, that's a pretty substantial increase due to some movement in futures, but even more movement in the basis. And because the processors need the corn, the farmers aren't selling it. Now, and it's been cheap, and we're seeing exports pick up aggressively. And we've been telling our subscribers that for 2 months. This would happen. Now the real question becomes, when will this thing top? I think it's going to top before January 1. Because all of a sudden, we come January, the movement of this cash corn is going to start to increase, and as it does, we'll see the basis soften and futures soften a little bit as well. So, we haven't made a decision yet to sell more corn. We're 60% sold already.
That's frankly, for your subscribers.
For our subscribers, and most of that was sold a year ago. We forward contracted it, and we wanted to do more, but a year ago, people were still worried about their old crop. And it was hard to, it's like pulling teeth out of an elephant. So, but at some point here, we think that the market's going to justify making some small sales. Sell 10% and hope it goes higher. Or if sell 10% and it turns out to be the top, at least you got 10% sold there. So these are the kind of markets we want to make small sales in.
Do most farmers realize that there's probably a drop going to come when they start delivering January corn?
Oh, I think so. I think everybody is expecting that, which is what makes me a little bit more concerned about selling it. If everybody's expecting it, then it may not happen. What if Trump comes in January 20th and says, okay, China, you're either going to start abiding by the agreement we made 4 years ago, or I'm going to make sure we quit buying all of your stuff. They need us as much as we need them. And I do think China's going to come back to the table and buy more corn than anybody expects, because they can't afford to mess up our relationship. Again, both our countries need each other. And the same thing's true with Canada and Mexico. Trump made these threats on big tariffs to China and Mexico. Does anybody really think that's going to happen? No. This is just the way he does business. He makes threats to try and get people to react and to do good trades with us. And I think that's going to play out in his advantage. That's his personality. He's a negotiator. He's not a passive kind of guy. And so I think it's going to be very helpful to the farmer, and I think it's going to be good for an increase in our exports. And it's happening at a time when, particularly corn and soybeans, they're cheap. They're really cheap. And so, foreign governments are going to look at that and say, I think we better buy more while it's cheap.
Speaking of those export markets, Mexico has been a tremendous buyer of our corn. They're going to have probably some better weather coming on. Do you expect them to reduce their purchases over the coming year if they've got some better weather?
No, I don't. They really need our corn, and they can't produce enough corn for their own needs. So I don't think that's going to change. And, and we sell a lot of ethanol into Canada. The ethanol market's very strong. Our production right now is near the highest it's ever been. And I think the other thing, I don't know if farmers notice this that much or not, but as I travel and I go through airports, it's amazing to me the number of ads on the walls in airports from state corn growers associations promoting ethanol. And I mean, it's at almost every airport. Where I live part of the time, Milwaukee, they've got them everywhere. Billboards promoting E15. And the other thing I've seen is on local television recently. I've seen some of the best E15 ads I have ever seen. And, where they've been in the past, I don't know. But I think the corn growers are doing a great job on the promotion of ethanol because their ability to promote exports, in my opinion, is fairly limited. I mean, it's more political. But the associations do a good job on domestic usage. And I wish, this is not going to happen, but I wish someone could convince the Trump administration that we really need to be going to E30. If we really want to increase the demand from corn, that's how we really need to do it. And that would be very effective. But, that might happen in South and North Dakota and Minnesota, but it's not going to happen in Illinois and Indiana, I don't think.
We see a lot of push toward biofuels in the airline industry, but we've got a real problem here with this 47 or 45Z regulation in the Treasury. It may get written, but who knows if it's going to be kept around after January 20th. A lot of folks are fearing that biofuels may take a really big hit when Trump comes in.
I partially agree with that. I think biofuels are going to take somewhat of a hit, but not a really, really big hit. I think where we're going to be disappointed, you go back a year, even 2 years specifically, a lot of farmers in the industry was really pumped up over the future of biodiesel. And we were going to build all these new plants, et cetera. I think one got built, a lot are still sitting on the drawing board, et cetera. I don't think we have the demand for that right now. And, I don't know. I think the airline industry, I can tell you personally, as a retired pilot, I flew for a number of years. I'm not sure I want to fly on a plane myself that's burning on biodiesel. I like a proven jet engine that's running on jet fuel. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm not a scientist or fuel scientist, so maybe that will work. But I think it's got a lot of people are going to be concerned about it.